right, and welcome to What's Cooking at Lajes. And today, to answer that question, is Master Sergeant Lundblade. How are you doing today?
Great, ma'am. How are you?
And what is cooking today at Lajes?
We are going to make fettuccine Alfredo.
And who's we?
Me and Airmen, my sous chef.
Oh, you're sous chef. Okay.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Of course, absolutely. Is that the way they say it in Austin, Texas?
Actually, we just say it with a little accent of a southern. Fettuccine Alfredo.
Okay,
It's
all right.
down south.
Okay, so walk us through the steps.
Sure, no problem. So the first thing we're going to do when we're making fettuccine Alfredo is to start the pasta. And with pasta, it always starts with the water.
Starts with the water, okay.
Sure. And so with water, what you want to do is you want to add some salt. And salt adds a little flavor to the pasta. And at the same time, it helps the water boil a little bit faster.
Okay.
So grab some salt, and what you want to do is just kind of grab, 3 fingers or 4 fingers and just put a few dashes in there. In about 4.
Right.
So it looks
And
to
that's
me
good.
like you've got the pot about 3/4 of the way full, and so you're
Right.
you're adding some salt, right? And that's
Right.
for the flavor. Okay.
Right. And a lot of people will say to add oil to the water. And the reason for that is to help it from boiling over.
Right.
So a lot of people think that adding oil to the water will oil the pasta and keep it from sticking. But it doesn't actually. What it does is pasta is very starchy.
Right.
So as it boils, the starch comes out and into the water, and which is where you get your big bubbles, and it'll
Yeah.
boil over.
Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, whenever you're cooking, it's after, work, and
Yeah.
so you put it on and you just try to forget it.
Right. Which is sometimes not a good idea.
Right. So you may come back to boiled over water.
You don't want that.
Right. So I usually add just a dash of oil in there, and it keeps it from boiling over once you put the pasta in.
Okay.
So just grab a little bit of oil, and you just put like a little dash.
What kind of oil are you using?
I use olive oil for almost everything.
Me too. Yeah.
Now, is this extra virgin olive oil, or?
It is,
All right.
and that's good. And that's all.
Just a
that's
little
all you
bit,
need.
okay.
Because it doesn't actually stick to the pasta, so you don't want to waste it. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's get started with the sauce. So the first thing we do when we're making our sauce is we separate 2 eggs. And so I've separated 2 eggs and 2 egg yolks, and just take the fork and mix them up ahead of time.
So when you say separated the eggs, that means that you've separated the yolk,
the yolk
from the white. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So,
All right.
all right.
Okay.
And then just set that aside for now. And hand me the butter. So we're using 6 tablespoons of butter.
Of real butter, I noted.
Yes. Ma'am. Yes.
Real
Don't
butter.
use margarine. If you use margarine, it won't.
no,
you will
no.
not have the same flavor.
No.
At all. So.
Real butter. Okay. You got to have that real fat.
And one of the things I want to mention is that with this dish, once you get it started, it's kind of alive. So you want to almost always keep it stirring. You don't want to let it set for too long, because
Right, 'cause
then you'll burn your.
You don't want to burn that butter, right? Okay. All right.
And so what we'll do is we'll just start.
Keep it moving, huh?
Right. We get our butter, and once we get our butter melted, then we are gonna get 2 cups of cream,
Okay.
and it's the heavy whipping cream that I got at the commissary.
Okay. 2 cups of whipping cream.
So if you wanna turn this up
Now,
just a tad.
are you gonna let all that melt, or can you add the cream now?
I prefer to let it melt
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want, with the cream is a little cold anyway.
Right.
So too quick of a temperature change will mess with it.
It's not good. Yeah.
Right. So you want to kind of let the butter melt.
Keep it moving. Yeah.
Right. And just it's alive.
Oh, that smell of that butter sounds good. It smells so good.
So go ahead and pour in the cream.
Just kind of slowly or all at once?
Right.
All right.
And we'll just stir as it comes in.
So you've got quite a technique there. That's absolutely excellent.
Oh,
you
you
know, you've done this before, huh?
Never.
Never.
I
Oh.
like, grilled cheeses or mac and cheese is pretty much the extent of my Italian cooking.
Mac and cheese. You know what? Since you said that, I was doing a little research. Do you know who introduced pasta to the United States?
I have no idea.
Thomas Jefferson.
Really?
And do you know what inspired him? Is he went to Paris, and he was so inspired by the pasta, and he brought the idea back to the States. He went to Italy, invented a pasta making machine.
That's crazy.
And actually, what he made was mac and cheese.
Well, God bless him, I tell you what.
Right.
They have some amazing mac and cheese recipes too.
Oh, okay.
So what we're doing right now is we're just kind of letting the cream heat up to a decent temperature so that we can, and you can see it's going to start to steam out, and that's what you want to see, because you want some of the water and the ingredients to start kind of blending together. You see the butter slowly starts to disappear as you're stirring it. So as it heats up, not too fast, but you want to see that butter kind of slowly mix in with the cream.
Yeah.
So that it slowly kind of disappears.
Right, okay.
And then once we've got that effect, then we want to start mixing in our cheese to melt our cheese.
Okay, so this is the Alfredo part of it. What kind of cheese are you going to use?
So normally I would use a half cup of Romano and half cup of Parmesan. I was not able to find Romano here.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
I'm using the hybrid that they have at the commissary.
Okay.
And then just straight shredded Parmesan cheese. And you can always use fresh. The fresh is good. Sometimes the fresh takes a little bit longer to melt, especially with Parm. And if you can't find, or you just have Parmesan, it's fine to use just a full cup of Parmesan.
Well, I think that's an important point, because you can make it with whatever ingredients that you find available. And if you can't find the fresh, then go ahead and use the package.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and hand me, this is the half cup of Parmesan. I'm going to stir that in and get that melting.
Beautiful. Wow.
Now, when do I start the pasta?
Oh, yes.
Let's do the pasta.
Yes, let's do the pasta. So
this is going to be simmering just a little bit.
yes.
Okay.
So
You've got one cheese in there so far.
yes. Go ahead and hand me the second.
And you turn the temperature down just a little bit.
Yes. Let's turn it down
Oh boy.
so that we don't simmer it
Getting
too
nice
much.
and thick.
Yeah, I can see it already. My mouth is watering right now.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to grab the box of pasta. Now, one of the things on pasta is normally if you turn it over on one of the sides, on the side right here, you see there's a little scale there
Right?
that's got circles on it that shows you the number of servings.
Oh, all right.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull it out and you're gonna measure out 4 servings.
Okay.
And you're gonna put that in the pot.
Seems easy enough.
So 4 serving, is that like half a box?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately, okay.
And that's
Okay.
what we're aiming towards. We're aiming towards.
Oh, excuse me.
No problem.
I was distracted
No,
for a
you're
lovely
fine.
moment.
And so we're aiming towards cooking for a few people, either yourself and someone else,
Right,
or
right.
and if it's just you can always half this recipe.
Or have it the next day and
Right.
then the next day.
Sure.
All right.
Sure, it absolutely works heated up.
So
4
how you doing
servings.
over there?
4 servings.
Got it.
Okay,
So-
you got it. Okay. So we're going to
So-
put it in the water.
Go ahead and stick it in the water, and then let half of it kind of start to cook, and then take the black spoon right there,
Yes, sir.
and then just kind of fold the partially cooked part over the non-cooked part so that it all gets into the water.
And the key is really to get that water boiling.
Boiling.
Boiling,
Right.
boiling, so that you can
Rolling.
see the roiling, right? So you can see the big bubbles. And I know sometimes you get impatient and you say, "Oh, it looks like it's hot enough. Put the pasta in." Don't do that, because the pasta will turn to mush,
Right.
and it throws off the timing and everything. So
Right.
just wait that extra minute or so.
Right. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna set a timer for about 10 minutes, 10,
10
11
minutes,
minutes.
okay.
And at the 10-minute mark, of course, the best thing to do with anything is to taste it before you finish it.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
when you taste pasta, you should bite into it,
Mm-hmm.
pull a piece out and bite into it, and it should be slightly hard in the center, but not crunchy.
Not crunchy.
If it's a crunch, then that's not what you want.
Right.
You want to cook it.
You want it
but
just-
it's
yeah.
a little bit hard.
You want it
So-
al dente, which
correct.
means to the tooth.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is the perfect way to do it. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2 dashes of salt. So anything, once you kind of start getting your ingredients together, almost every time you wanna add some kind of salt in.
2 dashes.
And this, and if you don't know, a dash is normally, the finger and the thumb, and that's 1/8 of a teaspoon.
That's what Grandma says. And the other thing about pasta is you want to keep stirring it, because if you keep stirring it, that also prevents it from sticking together.
Right.
So maybe we should do that.
You wanna stir the pasta real quick?
Yes.
And it's starting to come together.
It looks so rich.
And it smells good too.
And then,
Okay, so we're gonna stir it up and bring that back to a boil.
and then it's fine to just let that set and gently boil. So now the last thing we're gonna add is our egg yolks. Now, as you can see, it's kind of, it gets kind of sticky with the cheese, and the way, so you add a little egg yolk to get
All of it the same
a better, all it's in, go ahead and pour it on in. And you get a better consistency with your sauce.
Oh,
So I mean,
all right.
it goes over the noodles and everything else much better, and it melds. So it doesn't alter the flavor too much, but it really adds a nice texture to the sauce. And we're just gonna kind of stir that in, and then once we get this stirred in, we're gonna simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then just kind of give it a taste after a few minutes and see where we're at.
Okay.
And then once the water's done boiling, then we'll make our pasta.
Fabulous. So we've got 2 different kinds of cheese:
Yes, ma'am.
cream, salt,
Salt,
real butter.
real butter.
No margarine.
No.
No, don't. If you are even tempted to use margarine, stop.
None of the fake stuff. We want all real.
All real. Don't even go to the
Right.
store and get real butter.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, and then a little bit of salt, and then the egg yolk. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're just now waiting for that to simmer a little bit. We're waiting for the pasta to finish cooking, and then we're going to come back and then put it all
gonna put it all
together.
together.
All right. We'll be right back. So welcome back, and now the moment that we've all been waiting for, and by pure coincidence, I know, sir, that you were just kind of doing like an out and about, walking around, doing what it is ever that the wing commander does.
All of a sudden, the chief smelled something.
Yeah?
Yeah. What's going on over there?
And so here you are. Okay, so would you consent to please be a taster for the Fettuccine Alfredo?
Tough.
Tough?
Tough stuff.
Oh, I don't know. Decisions. Okay.
I will take one for the team. And I think my stalwart staff is going to help me.
Okay, let's go.
Thank
Dig
you,
in.
sir.
All right, Sergeant Lundblade. So what do we have here?
It's fettuccine Alfredo.
Homemade sauce.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pass these around.
There you go, Chief. Oh, there you go, Colin.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. Does everybody have some?
Oh yeah.
It got quiet all of a sudden.
That's a good thing.
That's always a good
I
sign.
think that is
That is
Sure, I'm going to
always a
have to
good-
continue to eat more of it. To make sure I know how I feel about this fettuccine
Yeah.
Alfredo.
So. Oh.
Thank you.
All right. This should be
So-
one of the 5 food groups. I think.
I believe cheese should be.
So,
And
That's on point.
what would you say the secret to this sauce is?
I would
Love.
say the
Oh,
love.
that's right.
That's always
really
the answer.
Seriously, I mean,
keeping the sauce moving and going is one of the key things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Is just never letting it set and burn.
right.
It's rich, really, really rich. I can taste, you must have butter in here in addition to olive oil.
Yes, sir.
I can taste it. It's
Yes, sir.
We made a point of making sure that it is real butter.
Oh,
No margarine, don't ever even think about it. So,
Oh, yes. The flavor is
what's
there.
the general consensus?
It's good, delicious.
This is wonderful, isn't it?
Thank you.
I call
Can't
for
speak for
second.
general consensus, but I can say it's excellent.
And on that note, thanks for watching.